5 huge mistakes that singers make. Hey gang, Ken Tamplin from Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I want to go through 5 huge mistakes that singers make, and I just want to start with number 1. Number 1 is that most singers don't prepare for singing in different environments. So they practice in their room, or they might have a rehearsal space they practice in or whatever, and they practice in the same space over and over again, and the minute they're taken out of that environment and put into another environment, they panic. They're in a hall and there's a lot of reverb, or there's bands with loud, drums and guitar, whatever. And so a lot gets thrown at them and they just don't know what to do with it. So yes, I know most people have to practice in a specific rehearsal space or room or car or whatever that is, but I recommend strongly that you get out and practice in different environments. Go outside and you'll see when you sing outside that your voice just disappears and you find yourself over singing, or be in a big hall or a big room where there's a lot of reverb and you can't hear that well. Practice in different environments. That way, when you're in different environments, when you sing, you're ready for whatever gets thrown at you. Very important. Number 2, singers usually practice only enough to get by. They'll let's say they're only singing one song for some performance somewhere. So they might sing that song 1, 2, 3 times. And they think that's good enough. But man, when nerves kick in, adrenaline kicks in, bad sleep kicks in, whatever that other surprise effect that gets thrown at you, and you've only practiced just enough, you're not prepared for whatever might get thrown at you. Now, I want to give you kind of a funny analogy. My son and I, as you guys know, have played a lot of soccer. He actually won a full ride at his favorite college for playing soccer. And so we've been on a lot of soccer fields, and we've seen the hot shot guys that are naturally gifted that come in. They don't practice, they don't train, and they're great. They're just naturally gifted. They come in for, 30 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever. They score a bunch of goals, they high-five themselves, and they walk out with all the chicks. Well, what's interesting about that is when it comes down to a tournament, or when it comes down to 90 minutes of arduous play or 3 games back-to-back, they have not built up the stamina to sustain that. So they may be naturally gifted and have all the cool moves and stuff and score a lot in a 30-minute scenario. They are not game shape and they cannot keep up with. So I'm going to strongly recommend to you guys that you practice a lot, over practice, overtrain, like John Wooden, the famous basketball coach. When a lot of his players were asked how it was possible that they went 10 years at UCLA without losing a single game. Think about that. 10 years at UCLA without losing a single game. And they said, John Wooden made us practice so much that it came game time, it was pure entertainment. We knew we were going to win. We just didn't know by how much. So practice. Now, it's not just practice that makes perfect. It's perfect practice that makes perfect. So I recommend getting some training. So yes, I have a singing course. It's called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. You can find it right here at KenTamplinVocalAcademy.com, where I teach all of my students how to train like this. Now, I even get my students to practice this song up a half step or even a full step, and then have them bring it back down to the normal tuning for game time or for performance time. The other thing is too, a lot of you guys that are in a band, you go into a rehearsal room, you practice one song, you talk about who made the mistakes, and you're pointing at everybody else, but you get all this extra time in between songs, but that's not performance time. Performance time is song after song after song. Your adrenaline's pumping, your body's locked down, because you're all nervous and you have a lot of tension. Well, do it that way. Practice back to back all the songs. Don't stop in between it. Make sure your band does that, and not just one set. That's only one game. Do it 2 times, 3 times. Make sure you have the stamina so that when it comes game time, you are prepared. All right. The other thing is panicking. People will do the craziest things or try the craziest things in a panic. They wake up in the morning with a froggy voice. They feel like they might be getting sick or something, or their voice is just kind of hoarse. And what do? They will take some weird elixir, some throat spray, or do something that they're not used to, that's not tried and true, and they'll panic and try some bizarre thing. Gang, don't do that. Prepare for those things too. To say, okay, if I wake up with a froggy voice, what did Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy say? Well, there's lots of things you can do. I hate to prescribe ibuprofen, but you could get ibuprofen to bring the swelling down, to bring inflammation down. Take a nice long hot shower to get a lot of moisture back in the cords. Warm up really, really slowly and for a long period of time, really gently to get resiliency and elasticity back in the cords. So prepare for that too. Don't wait till all of a sudden something happens to you and you say, oh no, am I going to be able to make it through today? Because that's just not smart. So don't try elixirs or things that are not tried and true. Stick with what you know works and that you've tried and you've prepared for. So that was number 3. Number 4, don't believe your press. Let me explain this. A lot of people think that they get bad press, they get bummed out, it tears down confidence. Or they get good press and they become overly confident, and you don't want either, okay? You want to just go, I'm as good as I know I can be. I know I'm practiced up. I've done everything I can to prepare. And so I'm not going to let that psyche or anything affect my psyche. Or better yet, a guitar amp goes out on stage, or the drummer forgot his snare drum or whatever that thing is, right? Don't let psychologically those things dictate what you know you've already practiced all day for. Let me give you an example of this. We were on a really big show, and a lot of people paid good money for this show, and the PA went out. And so the promoter comes over and he's all bummed out and he's announcing that they're going to cancel the show. And I go up to him and I go, stop, whoa, we're not canceling the show here, guys. Hey, Joey, did you bring your acoustic? Howie, did you get your this? Harry, did you get that? And we did a full-blown acoustic performance, one of the best performances I've ever done. We got a standing ovation. It was like, instead of panicking, canceling a show because there was an issue or a problem, we turned it into an asset, to a benefit. So again, don't believe your press, good or bad. Don't let psychologically things affect you. Know who you are, know what you're capable of, hold the line, toe the course, and just do what you do and do well, and that's perform. And lastly, on number 5, a lot of bands, younger bands, immature bands especially, is they will, I'm going to use a rehearsing before a show or sound check. They'll go in and they want to impress the 5 hot chicks in the front that are, bartenders or whatever they are. And so they will over sing and over practice and over rehearse or warm up before a show. This is really easy to do at a sound check. It's also really easy to do before a show where you practice. And then they won't eat because their adrenaline is suppressed, their appetite. They'll do all these silly things where you got to go, I know I need to eat because I need the energy. I know that Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, what he does with his students is he says, warm up about up to 30 minutes or 15, 20 minutes before a set or show time so that you're tip-top shape and you're ready to go out and perform. Don't do it in the morning. Don't do it all day long. Don't over sing in sound check and blow your voice out to try to impress people. No, just do just enough that you know that you need to do in order to be showtime ready or ready for showtime. So anyway, gang, hopefully this was helpful, and definitely stick around for my next video. I'm gonna sing for